Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. A couple weeks ago, I did a review on a ProTech Euphonium gig bag, which you can find, of course, on my page. And I mentioned at the time that I had owned a trombone case from ProTech as well that I had found useful over the last 5 or 6 years. And I thought I would give it kind of like long-term evaluation or review. But in case you are looking for a trombone case, they still make this version. They've updated it slightly with a few sort of updates to some of the features, but it's the same basic layout, fits the same size horn, and has all the same features. We're looking at long-term viability of these ProTech cases, how their manufacturing quality holds up over a lot of use. I definitely have gotten a lot of use out of this case. For those of you who are just coming to the channel out of the blue, I'm a professional trombonist. I tour frequently. I did about 3 years on cruise ships, and I've done a couple national Broadway tours as well. So the horn has been all over the world. The case, I should say, has been all over the world through a variety of airports. I'm sure it's been thrown around plenty by baggage handlers, and just being loaded in and out of instrument crates. It's gotten its share. It's seen its share of use. So I think this should be a pretty accurate assessment of the case over the the lifetime of it. There's a couple things that have come up that I've noticed that I'm going to point out where it sort of it hasn't met up to a high quality of standard, and other areas where it's really held up well. So hopefully we get to all those points today, and they're made clear for you guys in case you're looking at purchasing one of these ProTech cases. All right, so like I said, the ProTech is still making this version of the case. It's the ProPack contoured tenor trombone case. You can find it on their website and at various retailers. The first thing I want to point out is, as I did with the euphonium case, the material. It's this what they call ballistic nylon. You can see it's riveted, or I guess screwed in all the way down the length of the case. It's held up pretty well. There hasn't been any tears. The old ProTech cases used to just come apart at these seams, and they'd rip, and the wood underneath would be exposed, and it just gets worse and worse over time, and you eventually just had to throw it out. But this has held up pretty well to heavy handling. There hasn't been any rips in the stitching or along the zipper line, but this corded sort of finish where it's stitched in, the stitching has held up really well. You can see it's fraying in the areas that are coming into contact, in luggage crates and doorways and car trunks and that sort of thing. It's obviously like it gets set down on some of these ends, and they do get frayed. You can see it's frayed down here as well. But overall, like, that's something I think you would expect out of any case that's getting a lot of use. So I've been pleased with the way that the stitching and the fabric overall is held up. It's fairly water resistant. It's not going to keep the water out in a downpour, but in a light rain going from the car to a venue, it's going to keep everything pretty well protected. Cool. Let's get into it. As you can see, it has a fairly large outer compartment for accessories and the various things you might be carrying to a gig. But it actually holds a surprising amount. I have a travel stand in here, trombone stand. It has 3 pencil or pen holders, a zippered like a mesh zippered compartment here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm not sure exactly. It's kind of small, like I put knickknacks in there, like batteries for stand lights. But this second compartment isn't bad. Like, I have a couple highlighters, more batteries. You know, you could put extra slide grease or, you know, valve oil or whatever in here. It should fit. So it's useful. It has its uses. The compartment itself, like I said, it's long, so it fits like the various music stands, but it's not wide enough for sheet music. So you're going to have to carry it by hand, which is kind of frustrating. I wish the compartment was made large enough for sheet music. That'd be a bonus, I think, because, you know, you're always just carrying like the case and mutes and your sheet music and like a coat or whatever, like out from, you know, like through an airport or more likely from your car to a venue and just having to like hold sheet music sort of precariously in one hand, hoping that it doesn't fall out of the folder isn't ideal. So it is what it is, but it actually, for everything else that it holds, works out pretty well. You know, it's not going to hold like any mutes or anything like that, but trombone mutes are huge. It's not like a trumpet case where they can just pop their mutes into a compartment. All right, you can see the issue already here. I'm going to get to a little bit later, but first, I just wanted to talk about the compressed wood that the case is made out of. It's not the lightest material that's out there being used today, but I have to say, like, this is hard compressed wood. There's not a whole lot of give. It's pretty durable. It's very protective, and I haven't had any dents to the horn while it's been in this case traveling. And I do put this under the plane. I have put this under the plane. I gate check this horn all the time because there's just never enough room overhead. In most airplanes, the horn is too long. So you take it to the gate, you give it to them. It's taken down a set of stairs and put underneath the plane with the other baggage, with like the strollers and wheelchairs and stuff. It hasn't been damaged yet, knock on wood. It's held up really well, and I do trust it to be handled at the airport. You know, if I had to check it at the counter up front, I'd be a little nervous just because I've seen sort of the worst case scenarios from colleagues' horns before, but I think it would do all right. It's really solid. There's not a lot of give to it, and it's solid all the way around. There's no real weak points on it. And we'll take a look inside at the sort of level of protection that's inside the case in a little bit. Okay, so we talked about the ballistic nylon. There's a couple other features I want to look at quickly before we open up the case. The first is the metal rings that are set up for shoulder straps. This came with a shoulder strap. So like there's a couple places to attach this to. Obviously you could do it here like that. But there's a second hook up here. So if you wanted it a little bit tighter, just like sort of at a different angle, that's another option as well. These are metal. Come off there. They're pretty nicely made. It's the same with the loops. They're metal as well. You can see the claws, the feet. I think they're like solid rubber. I set it down like this a lot. The bell is sort of offset. The bell compartment is offset, which means it's a little unstable. So be careful. But you know, I've had it tip over before, and it's not going to hurt the horn at all. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But as I was saying, that the stitching is held up well on these hooks, and in fact, you can see the same stitching on the handles, front and back. Okay, so like I got to talk about this handle here. So this is one of the weak points that shows up a lot in this case over the years, like quite quickly actually. The Velcro fabric, the fabric for the Velcro just doesn't hold up over time. This probably I think this went in the first year easily. You can see it just doesn't hold at all. It's not a big deal. It's just annoying more than anything, especially for this strap. I mean, I can still hold it together. It makes it more comfortable, right? Everything's fine, but it's kind of a bummer, I guess. You can see like some of this fabric is just like come loose. I think the issue is in the hooked section. It's just really frayed and worn. There's not a lot of like the little plastic hooks that you see on Velcro. They just get worn off super quickly. So hasn't worked out, but it still works as a handle, you know. It's not a big deal. Just more annoying than anything else when it's constantly sort of falling apart. Same thing with this flap here that protects the zipper. It's worn. Again, it's worn. The fabric peels away and it doesn't want to stick. So it's not a big deal. It usually just stays on its own, but a little disappointing. So these are metal zippers. They've held up really well. I haven't had any issues. They don't get stuck. There's no fabric that gets caught up in the zippers at all. They work really well. They're easy to move, and they've been really durable. And having the flap does help protect them. So I do like the design, having the flap here to protect the zippers. So in addition to the shoulder strap, ProTech offers, for an extra fee, backpack straps. And the case has strap points to hook up the backpack straps. You can order them from their website online or from an instrument retailer. But these don't come with the case. You have to order them separately. It is nice to have the option because, frankly, I would rather have the weight of the case and the horn on two shoulders compared to over just one shoulder. But it's nice to have options. You know, if you're a doubler and you're carrying multiple instruments, it's good to have backpack straps for one instrument and a shoulder strap for another. It's an interesting setup. Like, they kind of hook up strangely. There's these like riveted and stitched handles for the backpack. I don't know what else to call them. This is plastic. And it fits on like that. It goes through and hooks around. And there's a point here, like an extra strap here and here that are stitched in. You know, it works. And I guess as a design that where it's, like you can take them on and off, it works fairly well. You can see there's some fraying. Man, I hadn't even noticed this. This is how much I've been using it. Some fraying on the backpack straps themselves. The fabric's coming loose a little bit. This is something I haven't seen anywhere else on the case. It's not that comfortable. Like, it's more comfortable than a single shoulder. I'll demonstrate it in a little while for you guys and sort of talk about how the comfort level. They are padded lightly. They're adjustable. They have the, where is it? A clip in the middle that goes across your chest to sort of redistribute some of the weight, which is nice. A plastic hook here if you have like a water bottle on a carabiner, something like that. You can hook it up here. The chest strap is pretty high on me normally, but it is adjustable where the chest strap goes, so that's nice. Overall, not bad. The stitching's held up pretty well. They have some clips down here. That's how you attach them to the bottom. Not bad. I think it's like 25 or 30 bucks for the backpack straps. So one last thing, just at the top end here, it has what I think is known as a subway handle. It's for like shifting it while you're standing, if you're in line or in the subway, on a subway train or something like that. There's some rubber padding down here to help protect it. It's just one of those small things that comes in really useful that you don't even notice, but you'd be sad if you didn't have. Okay, I think I've covered everything on the outside. If there's anything you want to know more about the exterior, you can feel free to put your question in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Okay, so I've adjusted the camera to, I guess, the best angle I can to get a close enough shot to see some of the details. I'll try moving around the bag. I know you're not getting the whole picture, but I just don't have a wide angle lens, so this is the best I can do, but I'll try and move stuff around in and out of frame, and hopefully that helps. Okay, so you can see I have an F attachment horn. It fits in here quite easily. There's plenty of room for it. They've devised sort of a cutout for the thumb lever to fit into the case when it's closed. The interior uses this very soft, non-abrasive blue velvet. It hasn't worn the lacquer on any of the contact points. The lacquer loss here is from the sweat off my neck. It uses two types of foam, a soft, quite squishy foam for certain sections, and then like this denser memory style foam for other sections, especially here where the F attachment valving would be. This is great because it'll form to your specific wrap, which is awesome. So it's universal to most styles of wrap, and I think it'll even hold, large valves like a Thayer valve as well. I wish it had more padding in certain sections. It's got some here, but not as much down here. None there. It's just like sort of the padding from the velvet. Same here. There's very little. Just kind of a bummer, It could get have something dropped on it from the top or whatever, or squished, and you'd like to see a bit more padding, but maybe they were saving cost on manufacturing. I'm not sure. There's more of this it's quite thick, maybe like 1.5 to 2 inches thick around the bell. This softer padding. It's all quite soft. I do put a plunger mute inside my bell for like an extra layer of protection when I'm traveling. And I wish there was some padding here. This is again just wood, compressed wood and velvet. I haven't had any issues, any damage at all to the bell. So I don't think padding's really an issue at all. I think it's all pretty well padded. I'll show you really quickly down here. There's a compartment. I put my normal mouthpiece in here. It's not super large. It was attached by this flexible strap originally, but the stitching became frayed from opening and closing it all the time, and now it's just like a single strand of fiber. But I'm not too worried about that. It stays closed when the case is closed. Down here is by the bell section is another compartment. This one zips, which is awesome. You can store a lot of stuff in here. I put valve oils, slide oils, tuning slide grease, and even a backup mouthpiece in a mouthpiece pouch. So there's plenty of space in here for all your little knickknacks and accessories and like stuff that you just need and use every day on the horn for maintenance. Just remember to zip it. I've forgotten a couple times and had stuff fall out, and that can, if it's bouncing around the case, then that can be trouble. Here's where we start to see an issue. Like on the outside, the Velcro just hasn't been made very well, I guess. It's like cheap or something, I'm not really sure. It sort of sticks, but the whole idea of this strap, if the case hasn't been zipped up and someone tries to pick it up, they don't realize it, the case opens violently and the horn comes tumbling out. This is supposed to like hold it in to keep it protected, but it just comes loose really easily. So it's not something you can trust, and that's a bummer. I mean, it's the right idea, but they didn't design it very well, or they just went the cheap route with materials. I'm not sure. But in either case, you can't trust it. So just always set the case on the ground or on a sturdy table, just a sturdy surface before you open it. Overall, the bell section hasn't had any issues. I'm going to turn it around and show you the slide side now. Okay, you can see the slide side of the compartment. It has this, I think it's made out of like a flexible sheet of molded plastic. Here's the indentation for the F attachment thumb trigger, and they say it can, at least the new ones can accommodate, even large Thayer valves and that kind of design. So this is nice. It protects the slide from the rest of the horn. I think like the design is good. You can see there's here you can see the opening there's an opening for the spit valve. I'm not sure why they left it open. I kind of wish they'd covered it, but you can see it's not hitting the tuning slides at all. But this is where we start running into issues. The concept, the design is good. It's well protected. The slide is protected and it's protected from the bell, but the manufacturer, I think the materials chosen have let us down. Look down here. there's no grip at all. Very little grip to this strap here. Just like nothing. Now, the middle one here, you know, you can hear it. It's a little bit better. It's not going to open. It would, you know, the way the slide's just not that heavy, so it's going to hold it in. But the issue is at this end. Because this strap comes loose, has no grip at all, what happens is that the slide, when the horn is stood up, when the case is stood up on the bell end, you know, it has these little feet down here. And you're often on the subway train or in line at a coffee shop or at the airport or whatever, like you're shuffling along and you're resting the horn on its bell in the case, right? So like this end is up. What happens is the slide starts moving its way down. And pretty soon it's exposed to the bell section. I was just kind of disappointed. You know, it's like, I don't know how much money they saved by like using a cheap material, but it couldn't have been that much. They should have used snaps like buttons with rubber caps to them or something, you know. The other issue with this comes down at the other end. This slide slides down and now the spit valve is hooked to the outer flap, right? And you go to open this, you don't realize it, and now you're putting stress on the spit valve. Like I said, the design is good. The manufacturing on the Velcro straps all over the case is not good. But I know, like they've changed it with the newer models. The bell section is like, there's like this heavier, wider strap that it looks like it has a buckle. So they must have sort of realized that. I don't know if they've changed the slide section straps at all. I hope they did. But if you have a newer ProPack case and they've changed it, let me know in the comments. What I do is I put a dish towel here over the end of the slide cover, and it fits over top. It gives an extra layer of protection to the bell, and it keeps the slide from moving back and forth. It's an easy solution to the problem. It's just disappointing. Okay, it's pretty easy to put on. Sometimes the strap will they'll cross and it'll be a little awkward, but for the most part, it just flips on. You can see here the chest strap. And it's pretty comfortable over the course of a day. It's nice to have the chest strap to redistribute the weight, and it helps, but you do get sore shoulders. I think the padding could be a little bit thicker. I have traveled a lot with, you know, through airports and, you know, on buses and subway trains and that kind of thing, and really, really useful to have the backpack straps. So they're a good addition. The chest strap is adjustable. Here's the little hook, the little hook for, you know, a water bottle or whatever. It's not as comfortable as, you know, a regular backpack. It's just very stiff and straight. I wish there was some molding to the back so that it was more comfortable, but it's an optional backpack straps. It's not like built into the case or anything, so I guess I understand that part. And I'd rather have the backpack straps than just a single shoulder strap. It's kind of loose, and it sticks out on the left side. So you really have to be careful walking past people, or more importantly, turning around in small spaces like packed subway car or an elevator. Let me tell you, like, it hurts when it hits somebody in the noggin. The other thing I would say is, like, it's come unclipped here a couple times. I don't know why. I think it gets set down and it like unsnaps itself. And the thing, I've gone to like pick up the horn and it just like topples over. So it's a little disconcerting, but you know, this case is so sturdy that you really don't have to worry about short drops like that. but it's just, I guess, one of those things to look out for. It's very random. I don't know. I've never been able to pinpoint why it does that, but overall, yeah, it's a little off kilter. I wish it was more comfortable, but it's nice having the backpack strap. Okay, so final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts. I've been really happy with the case over the last 6 years. It's stood up well to a lot of use, and it hasn't broken apart yet. I haven't had any damage to the horn, and it's been through plenty of airports, and plenty of stages, equipment trucks, venues all over the world. I wish that, they'd use a different material for the Velcro, but overall, protection wise, it's been really, really solid for the horn. And I trust it enough to put it underneath an airplane. There's always a risk when you're doing that, but if you gate check it, I think that minimizes that sort of risk, and you can trust it to get from point A to point B without taking any damage to the horn inside. I spent $220 bucks. I think it was like $216 or something like that on Hickeys.com for this. Go to Hickeys. They're going to have a discount. If you go to ProTech's website, it's going to be $100 extra. I don't know why, but that's what it is. So go to Hickeys.com. Like I said, they're making like an updated version of this. I'd love to see one and see if they've made any changes and if they're good, if they've solved this problem. Yeah, for $200, I mean, it's a great case. It's a really affordable case that's going to offer really, really solid protection for the instrument. It's really solid and affordable, which is, if you're a musician, that's something you learn to look for is affordability. So it's solid. I would definitely recommend it. I think you'll be happy with it. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoy these review videos. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments and hit the like button. I'm going to be trying to do more of these review videos. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, what I'm going to review next, but they're kind of fun to do. So I think I'm going to be doing more of them in the future. So if you enjoy this sort of stuff, subscribe to me as well. And I'll see you next time.